So Philip, I wanted to ask you about convergence and meaning, and to define that for Amobee and for the industry versus programmatic, and some takeaways from the recent Forrester report on the topic.
Sure, it's a great question. Obviously, convergence is probably the hottest topic in the industry right now. There's also a lot of confusion around it because oftentimes people think, oh, connected TV, that's convergence. But in reality, when you look at the data about how TV is being integrated with digital and what's happening from a consumer experience standpoint, even when you project out to 3 years from now, 2022, 50% of all TV spend is still going to be traditional linear. So what that means is that when we talk about convergence, it's really about how you bring data-driven audience strategies to all forms of TV. That's TV, that's connected TV, and it's linear TV, and it's addressable TV, and it's online video, and it's even social video. And so solving for that is really a very different problem than what the industry originally solved when you use the term programmatic back in the mid-2000s around remnant display advertising. Premium TV content and remnant display are completely different, and the technology solutions and even the organizational approaches that you use to operate those platforms are completely different. And so that's what the Forrester report is really focused on, is how the industry needs to think differently and the technology platforms need to function differently to really provide the benefits of convergence to marketers.
So let me ask you more specifically about your work on the linear side. I know Amobee does some sort of extremely innovative work there. Explain your work there.
Sure. So we have first of all, we have a fantastic partnership with Nielsen. And what we do is we approach convergence from the perspective of bringing what is the best of digital along with what is the best of traditional linear. And in order to do that, you have to have an approach to identity that takes the best of both of those worlds. And of course, digital and linear TV are very, very different. And in digital, you can understand who is the consumer. You can measure their devices, you can look at their household, the members of that household, connected TVs in that household. But when you're talking about linear, measurement comes from panel data, right? And Nielsen is a primary currency in our industry for that panel data. And so one of the key things that we've been doing is the integration, or you could almost say the fusion of panel planning data and measurement with digital planning data and measurement, so that for a marketer, their agency, you can really use what has been the first party data that's powered programmatic advertising and made it so powerful, and be able to translate that across both the addressable devices in digital as well as traditional linear planning. And that's an incredibly powerful capability. It's taken, frankly, a lot of investment and a lot of time to be able to develop that out, but it yields tremendous benefits in how you're able to think about planning for converged media in a much more holistic manner.
And finally, could you just help position, if you would, Amobee in the ecosystem? There's so many parts of it. You work with the buy side, you work with the sell side. How do you define your position?
Sure. I mean, at the end of the day, Amobee is an ad technology provider, and what we focus on is the tools that are used for the planning, execution, measurement, and optimization of converged media. What that means for a marketer is being able to use data to inform everything that they do, to be able to have one definition of an audience, and to be able to engage in with that audience in a conversation very seamlessly across channels. On the sell side, where you have broadcasters who have been really kind of living in the world of linear TV, they need a lot of the same tools, but used in a different way. They need the tools that enable them to take a marketer's first-party data and to turn that into what is the inventory that they can package and sell across both linear and their OTT properties, so all of the digital content consumers are engaging with, in the way that the advertiser wants to buy them. So what we found is that, number one, there's common sets of technologies between both what the buy side and the sell side needs. But even more importantly, it's about enabling both of those sides to be able to share the data together so that they can have a common understanding of audience and that they can buy and sell in the way that is most effective for both of them.